Okay, well, welcome to Spring Clean Your Finances, a family budget workshop. And my name is Dawn. I am the director's assistant here at the library. And I want to thank Victoria profusely for doing this for us. Because as you'll see, she put a lot of work into it, and she's a trained family budget educator.
I am.
And believe me when I tell you, she lives this stuff. And if you live it too, maybe you can also go on a 3-week vacation to Japan and Singapore.
You have to get your son to move there first.
So the point is, it doesn't mean sacrificing everything. It just
No,
means
not
kind
at
of
all.
having a plan, right? Yes.
Exactly right.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you one favor for the library, and that is to fill out the evaluation at the end. And the most important part for us about the evaluation is, what do you want us to do next? So whatever your ideas are, jot them down there. We'd love to hear them. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Victoria.
Okay, hi. So as Dawn mentioned, I'm a family budget educator with Cornell Cooperative Extension. Long word, amazing results. But as she also mentioned, my real criteria, my real, I forgot the word, credentials is that I live the life. And I can help you all live the life too. So I have done things like I raised a family on one salary by buying my kids all their clothes and toys at thrift shops and yard sales, what have you, even their Christmas presents. I have never had a car payment in my life. I bought all my cars cash. I bought my first house and paid off my mortgage in 10 years. And then I saved up more money, and when I sold that house with the equity from that house and the money I saved up, I bought my second house cash. And I'm telling you that if I can do it, anybody could do it. We didn't have a big salary. It's just all the way you work with your money. So we're going to get started. And before I even start into my program, I just want to get an idea from you people what you're doing here tonight. What brought you here tonight? Besides you. You can benefit from this the most.
Retirement.
Retirement.
To find
okay,
a way
yeah.
to be able to retire.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
And when you're in retirement, how to use your money wisely so you're still saving.
very good. Yeah. Okay, anybody else have any thoughts?
Well, what you said, I followed that pretty religiously already.
Oh, very good. Very good. So, here to tell you that congratulations, you just took the first step to whatever your goal is here tonight. Because as every 1,000-mile journey starts with one single step, and that one single step with finances is wanting to take that control. And that's a big step. You can just go along mindlessly forever, but wanting to take that control is a big step. So it all comes down to a simple equation. And I liken it to losing weight. When you don't suddenly wait, you're at your ideal weight and you wake up, and you're 50 pounds overweight. What happened is you weren't thinking and, you're eating stuff, you're not paying attention to the calories going in, the calories going out. And then one day you get on that scale or you try and put your clothes on and they're too tight and you realize that you've gotten 50 pounds overweight. And it's the same thing with finances. If you don't pay attention to your finances, just like calorie by calorie, you gain that weight, penny by penny, dollar by dollar, you get into whatever financial situation you're in today. But by the same token, because of that, you can take control at any day. You can turn that around. At any day, you could start that diet and start losing that weight. At any day, you can start taking control of your finances, getting in the shape that you want to be in. So the bottom line is, you are in control. It's all up to you how much you want to be in control of your finances and save that money. And a lot of times people have no idea what that equation is. You don't know what your calories you're eating. You don't have any idea how many calories you're taking in. You don't have any idea how many calories you're expending. And it's the same thing with money. You don't have any idea. Well, people usually have a pretty idea how much money is coming in, but it's that money going out that people don't even know usually. They have no idea. So what is the common denominator there? mindlessness. You're not paying attention, you know, you're going along, you're getting your kids ready for school, you're eating their French toast, you get to work, you grab a cup of coffee and a donut, you know, lunchtime comes, somebody's taking orders for fast food, or you run out to McDonald's, you know, you get a snack from the vending machine, you get home, you don't have time to cook dinner, you stop and get a pizza. You have no idea how many calories you just took in. And the good news is, taking control of your calories and taking control of your finances, you can do them in it's one-stop shopping, because you take control of that mindless eating, you're also taking control of your mindless spending. You know, you start bringing your lunch to work, you start buying, you know, bringing your own coffee. So actually controlling your finances is good for your weight too. So what are you going to do? You're going to start paying attention. Now everybody's had a leaky faucet and it just seems like drip, 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 right? But then if you put a bucket under that leaky faucet, before too long, what do you got? Gallons of water out of that little leaky faucet. And that is the thing with your finances. All those little drips, they add up to a lot. You'd be surprised. All right, so what is the first step? Taking stock. All right, so here we go. What are some sources of income that you guys have?
Social Security.
Social Security. All right, anybody else have a source of income?
Pensions?
Hmm?
Pensions?
Pension.
I'm still working, so my salary.
Yeah, salaries, right, of course.
Rental income? Rental income?
Rental income, oh, that's a good one. Okay, anything else?
Mutual fund.
So, interest then, you're saying. Interest, dividends. Okay.
Victoria, these are better.
What is, oh, thank you. Yeah, that was running out.
Yeah, it's getting hard.
Okay. All right, so income. You hit on all mine and then some. I've got your paycheck, so well, child support, and I don't even know if people get alimony anymore, but we got Social Security and or disability. And a second job being, you know, could be you get a little cash coming in from babysitting, or you sell things on Etsy, you know, things like that. Or even a legitimate second job like delivering pizza or something. All right, so that's that side of the equation, your income side of the equation. Then you got the other side. And that side is a little trickier. So let's list some expenses.
There's lots of those.
I know.
Mortgage.
Mortgage, a big one. Yep.
Utilities.
Is this the good one?
No,
Oh,
neither,
okay.
no.
Here, give me that one, that's going in the garbage.
Take that. Okay, anything else?
What's the second one?
Utilities, sorry, it's very light.
Entertainment, I think, is like
Entertainment.
is a bottomless pit if you're not
Yep.
careful.
Yep, you're right.
Like dinners out, movies, parties,
Yep.
whatever.
Because the rest of them you can't help, but the entertainment's
Mhm.
probably the only one that you can cut.
Taxes?
Taxes, yep, that's a big one.
Healthcare.
Yep.
Insurance.
Child support.
Are you trying to tell me something? Yeah, it depends on which end of that you're on, right? Okay,
Gas.
gas.
Food.
Yes,
Yeah.
food, yep, that's it.
Heat. Oh, you got that.
Well, we have utilities, so I guess.
Like your car.
Would cable
Cable.
go under entertainment? That's very
Yeah.
expensive.
Cable, TV, anything else?
Car.
Snow
Car.
plowing, grass mowing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Maintenance.
gas.
Home maintenance, I guess.
Yeah. Repairs goes
Yeah.
under there.
And
yeah.
repairs, yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And there's probably a lot more if you think about it, right? Keep thinking. So, what you're gonna need to do is take stock of this, and as I said, the income, oh
See?
dear.
And I left my post.
Yeah, you're supposed to be here fixing this. Well, you fix that. The income portion is fairly cut and dried. You know, you pretty much can get a handle on that pretty quickly. But as you can see, the expenditure part, you know, can really get hard to even get a handle on if you haven't been paying attention.
Can I just interject to ask if you're gonna cover this? Some people have, even after their children are adults,
Mm-hmm.
they're shortchanging themselves to help their children,
You're
and
absolutely right.
and
Yeah.
are you gonna cover that?
I
at
wasn't
all?
going to cover that,
Well,
but
maybe
I
it's too-
highly recommend that people don't do that.
Don't do it.
It's not a good idea. You know, first of all, it's not good for your kid. Your kid needs to become independent, right? And and it's not good for you. You should not be shortchanging your own retirement funds to help them.
Do they just sink?
Well, they shouldn't sink. They should swim. They should be, you know,
They should be
learning
doing
to
what you're doing.
swim, you know, and make their own money. Yeah, it's like enabling. You know, if somebody's a drunk, you don't keep giving them drinks, you don't keep buying them drinks. You're enabling them to be dependent by not, you know, by financing them, basically. All right, we gotta go through the income again. All right, so now, when you're taking stock of your expenses, it makes it a little easier if you can divide it into these categories. So your first one is fixed, and that's any expense that is the exact same month to month. So what would be your examples of fixed expenditures there?
Mortgage?
Mortgage, that's the biggest one.
Taxes?
Well, taxes, yeah, I guess, that comes out of your thing depending on what you
Phone bill
make.
is usually the same.
Phone bill, cable bill, insurance, you know, at least it changes year to year, but usually stays pretty much the same for the year. So that you would list those first. What did you do to my little thing?
Well, I was trying to make it not go to sleep.
Oh, here. Oh, I see. Okay, so then the next category is variable. And these are the things that you're gonna spend money on every month, but it's gonna change a little from month to month, depending on if you ate a lot that month or whatever. So what would be some of the ones that we would count in our variable?
Entertainment,
Entertainment, for sure.
car repair,
Mm-hmm.
if the kids
Actually,
come
car
home from
repairs even
school.
goes into the next category.
Oh, that's a good one. Food, yeah.
Food, definitely. Utilities, some people have, you know, they're on the budget plan for utilities, but if you're not, that could certainly change from month to month. Gas for your car, you know, you could go on a big trip one month and be homesick the next month, whatever. So those expenses you're gonna list. And then the last one is occasional, and this is the one that snags people the most with their making their budget, because like I said, repairs would kind of go into that category because you just never know when a car repair is going to come up. What are some other things that you could think of that would be not every month, but you do have to budget for them?
Events for the
Birthdays,
children.
weddings.
Yes, special occasions.
Yes, special occasions,
Or events with
definitely.
the children, like class trips or.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Vacations. Like, speaking of children, school supplies in September, things like that. And those are the things people don't remember when they're making out their budget. They can remember the things they spend month to month to month, but they don't allow room for those occasional expenditures, and you really have to think about those. So when you're making your budget, and I'm going to pass out these things, that handy dandy charts that you can make your budget on. It's important to remember those other things. And while you're trying to figure out what your expenditures are right now, getting a handle on it, you can look at your credit card bills, your debit card, your checkbooks, you know, any receipts that you have.
You don't have any problems.
She knows I do.
So,
Do you have one for each of you?
Yeah, one here.
Oh, Laura doesn't need it. She has me.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, another one here. What makes you think I need one?
Oh, I don't know. So, right now, pretty much you can do your fixed ones. Hopefully you can go home and check all your credit and debit cards and everything. Get a handle on those. The hardest thing is the cash, because people tend to just spend money on little things here or there with cash and they're not paying attention. So what you really need to do if you want to get a handle on taking stock here is start writing things down. And I am the frugalista queen, and I, to this day, write down every penny I spend. I have a little notebook. It's a little, just like an assignment book. And I find that I can get two days worth on each page. So I take my little assignment book, it's April 1st, and I write on the first page, April 1st, halfway down, April 2nd. Second page, April 3rd, April 4th, and I go like that until April 30th. So I have the whole month written down, and then every time I go out shopping, I come home with my receipts, I write it down. Every time I go on the internet and order something, I write that down. I sit and pay my bills, I write that down. I even write my fixed expenses in there, even though I know what they are month to month. But I just write. And then I go one step further, and I actually, at the end of the month, categorize everything. This is how much I spend on food, on bills, on entertainment, on car expenses, on everything. So I have a complete handle on what my expenses are.
You're extremely disciplined.
I'm extremely, yes.
Do you use anything like QuickBooks or?
I don't. I just use the
You put
old-fashioned paper. I mean, if you're a computer person, you could do that. I am totally not a computer person. But it's just the idea. So basically, you can go home and get kind of a handle on things right now. But if you really want to know where your money's going, you're going to have to track it for, like, let's say a month. And like I said, you got those occasional things that even a month you're not going to know. But it's a good idea to take stock of where you are. But that said, that doesn't mean that tomorrow you can't start saving money. You may not know exactly where all your money's going yet, but you can still start saving it. All right, here we get to the most dreaded part of taking stock.
There it is, you do it.
All right, so most people have it. This guy looks like he, went to an expensive institution and took out loans for that. And, nobody likes it. Nobody likes to talk about it. So let's talk about what is debt. Anybody know? You all know what debt is. What is it?
You owe it.
It's money you owe, right. And what's bad about it?
It's due.
Besides the money that,
Usually
besides the fact that you owe it.
interest.
The interest, exactly. So we do not want to be paying money. Basically what you have when you have debt is you're paying more money to buy everything that you buy. You're paying more money than it actually cost.
Can I just ask a question? Do you think
Yeah.
credit cards are bad news?
You do.
Okay.
All right, so let's now go through some examples of debt. What kind of debt do we have?
Student loans.
Student loans, that's a big one these days.
Mortgage.
Yep. Almost everybody has a mortgage, right?
Credit cards.
Credit cards.
Credit cards. The dreaded credit cards.
Car loan.
Car loan. All right. Anything else? Anybody have a home equity loan?
I have solar panels.
Oh, you're paying on solar panels? Solar panels. Yep, so as you can see, you live the normal American life, you can rack up quite a bit of debt. So now, what we need to do is take track of that too. So here's what we do. You're gonna go home, and I have something else for you here. And you're gonna write down every debt you have, and you're gonna write down the total of that debt, like, why do I keep forgetting you?
Thank you.
the total of that particular debt, like what that credit card or, you know, what you owe on the car, whatever, you're gonna write the interest rate that you're paying on that debt
Thank you.
and what your monthly minimum,
But if you pay off your credit cards, they don't
Yeah.
charge interest.
no,
So that's a good thing.
that's great.
So
You don't even have to
sometimes
count that.
Outstanding.
If you pay out, yeah, exactly, outside. If you buy things on with a credit card and then you pay that off before, you know, at the end of that month, so you never pay interest on it, then that's fine. We don't even have to
You can
consider
get
that
a-
debt.
You can get a trip. on a plane.
Exactly. I have,
Right.
like, who asked me about credit cards? I have credit cards, but I always pay them off. I never pay an interest rate, and I get things for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get rewards, right. So having credit cards isn't in and of itself bad, it's having debt, okay, taking the actual credit. So this is what your chart is gonna look like. You're gonna add up this column, the total, and that is the total amount of debt that you have. You're gonna add up your minimum payments because you need to budget for at least that much in your budget. Okay? So, one more point.
18% for Visa?
Well, some people have over 20% on their credit cards, yes. If you have bad credit, you can have pretty high percentages on those credit cards. And the other thing is, before you even think about paying off your credit cards, you really should have a little cushion of an emergency fund. And I recommend about $1,000. And why do you think I recommend you have that?
You may need it.
And if you have this emergency
Emergency.
fund, what you should do is stop buying things on credit and paying those interest charges, and have your emergency fund. So if a car repair needs to be done, or something on your house, or you have an unexpected medical bill, whatever, you have that fund to draw from, and you're not pulling out your credit card the first thing. So our goal is to pay off this credit card, pay off these loans, and not to ever have to use credit again. Okay. So no more credit cards, right? Now let's take a look at that debt that you're paying, okay? Some people just pay the minimum on their credit cards every month, and this is what you end up doing. Okay, you take out your credit card, you buy yourself a $250 iPod. If you paid the minimum payments, this card requires a 4% minimum payment. It's a 14% interest rate. If you just paid the minimum payment on that debt, it would take you 2 years and 6 months to pay that off, and you would pay an extra $47. So how much are you paying for your $250 iPod? Anybody?
Almost 300, yeah.
Exactly. And if you're like my kids, they probably don't even have that iPod anymore after 2 years and 6 months. Okay, so now you make a little more expensive purchase. You buy a $1,500 computer. You pay the minimum on that. It's going to take you 7 years and 9 months to pay off that computer. Do you think you still have that computer in 7 years, 9 months? And you're paying an extra $562. So you paid over $2,000 for that $1,500 computer. All right? Now you make a bigger purchase. You buy a home and you want to furnish, or you get a new apartment. So you buy $10,000 worth of furniture. 13 years to pay that off, and you pay an extra $4,062. That is a lot of money down that drain. Remember our drain? That's a lot of money to throw away that could have been in your pocket. So that's what happens when you pay the minimums.
So what's the alternative if you don't have the money and you want to buy the furniture?
Well, we'll get to that in a moment.
Use furniture.
Okay, so, now let's say you have $4,000 on your credit card, and it's an 18.9% interest, which is, I've seen cards with more than that percent interest on them. So you're going along, you're paying $100 a month on it. It takes you over 5 years to pay off that debt, and you paid an extra $2,362 for that $4,000 of stuff that you charged. Okay, you throw an extra $10 a month at it, now you're down to 4.5 years, you paid an extra $2,000. You throw an extra $50 at it, now you're down to less than 3 years, and you paid an extra $1,200. You double that payment to $200. Now you can pay off that debt in 2 years, and you only paid an extra $804. I say only an extra $842. That's still $842 down the drain. But it's a lot better than you paying those minimums and paying an extra $2,000 down the drain. So any money that you can throw more beyond your minimum payments on those credit cards makes a huge difference. And one more thing. We'll go back to the diet analogy. Okay, let's say, you're doing your diet scale here, calories in, calories out, and you decide you're going to start exercising. And you're going to expend more calories because you want to lose weight, right? So that's good. You lose a little weight. You're expending more calories than you take it in. But if on this side you just keep eating everything you've been eating, you're still eating the donuts and the pie and the pizza and everything, is that going to be as effective as if you cut back on the calories and expended more calories?
No.
No, it's not. Even Colin knows that. So, people, what I'm telling you is, if you're trying to pay down your debts, and you should be, you have to stop charging on the credit cards, okay? It's a lot more effective that way. All right, so now, one more thing. Two more things, okay? If you don't usually, late payments. You got to pay those payments on time. Did anybody ever get a late payment on there? That is a lot of money down the drain, okay? You've got to make those minimum payments on time when you're paying the minimum or any payments on time. And if you don't usually have a late payment, you're pretty good at this credit card, and you somehow miss a payment and it's late and they sock you with $35 for a late payment, get on the phone and call that credit card company, because they will always forgive one late payment. Yes.
We traveled and we missed a payment and we called. They also, from then on, everything you charge is interest. You have to pay interest, which I never knew.
Yes. You get, they up your interest rate, yes. That's another thing.
One late payment? Really?
Not all cards will up it for one late payment, no. But it does affect your interest rates.
But what they do is, like, if you go to the store and you buy more stuff on that card, you thought you were paying it off, and you really weren't. They charge you interest and all that new stuff.
Yes, on that. Oh, yes. So before you made that payment, yeah, because it's not paid off. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So so make those payments on time. Avoid those late charges. And the other thing that you can do, you're going to go and you're going to call all your credit card companies tomorrow, and you are going to tell them that your financial advisor, you're working on a debt reduction plan, you're working to pay off all your debts, your financial advisor has put you on this debt management plan, your financial advisor, and you want to know if they can reduce your interest rate. And if you have any of those, things that come in the mail that have all these low interest rates, whatever, you can have that next to you, and you can tell them, I can switch to whatever card and get this rate. Or you can even just look them up on the internet before you make the phone call. There's tiers of people that you're going to talk to. The first person can never make that change for you. So you're going to ask again, and you're going to be very nice, and you're going to be very polite to the people, and you're going to then ask to speak to their supervisor. And sometimes even the second supervisor can't make that change. But usually by the time you get to the third supervisor, they have the ability to lower that interest rate for you. You tell them, I love your card, I'm a very loyal, customer to you and everything, and I want to keep you with your card and not switch, but could you please lower my interest rate? And you have about a 50% success rate doing that. So, not paying a lot of that interest is going to make a big difference right there. All right, now we get to the question that Laura posed before. Oh, no, we don't. Oh, paying off your debts. Oh, so how do you pay off your debts? Okay? So there's two ways of looking at this, okay? Over here you have your interest rates, right? And on this one you're paying a huge interest rate, 21.9%. So you could start with the one with the highest interest rate, because when you get that paid off you're not paying that huge interest rate anymore. Or the Dave Ramsey method is he likes to start with the lowest amount debt because it gives you psychological motivation when you can start, crossing them off as quickly as possible. So you pay your minimums, you either take your highest percent or the lowest amount. On this one it happens to be the same thing. Or the lowest amount debt, and any money extra that you can scrape up, you put towards that one debt, and you pay that off. After you pay that off, you have that minimum payment plus whatever money you've been scraping up to pay towards your next debt. And Dave Ramsey calls this the debt snowball because every time you pay a debt off, you then have that minimum payment to add towards paying off the next one. Okay? So, that leads us to Laura's question. Where do you get the money to pay off those credit cards? And we've already touched upon it, that leaky faucet. So here's the thing, human nature. People tend to live at their income level, whatever their income level is. If somebody's making $30,000, they're living at that $30,000 income level. Maybe they're living a little above it, and that's why they have that credit card debt, but they're usually around there or a little above. And they're saying, if only I made $10,000 a year more. Well, then you have somebody making $50,000, and guess what? They're living at the $50,000 level. And, they're saying the same thing. On and on it goes. $100,000? I mean, you've all heard the story of, famous sports stars or rock musicians, whatever, making millions and millions of dollars a year, and then they go broke. Why? Because they're living at or above their income level. So, that's where the money's going to come from. You're going to live below your income level. All right? I want you to all look at this statement. Okay? Wealth does not come from how much money you make. It comes from how much money you don't spend. Okay? That's the only place you can get money. Every millionaire knows that. You can have a big fancy McMansion and 2 Rolls Royces and a boat, but you can also have $500,000 of debt. If you're spending more money than you're making, you're never going to get wealthy. You're always going to have debt. So whatever your income level is, you've got to balance that equation to down here. I have a great book on that, The Millionaire Next Door. And this is tells you how to do that, live below your income for one thing. And it has great anecdotal stories about people who have done it. And I recommend this book to everybody here. It's great. It's like, I don't know if you probably all heard stories about like the little old lady, the librarian who made, $20,000 a year. And she lived in a little modest house and she had her 2 cats and, everything. And then she finally dies. And she leaves $2 million to her cats. She was living below her income level. It didn't matter that she wasn't making a lot of money. She was saving money. All right. That leads us to the big truth. Everybody has to know this truth. And every kid, when they become a young adult, before they go out and make their first paycheck, this is what they need to know. And they should teach it in every high school at the senior class level. What is it, Colin?
I don't know.
You're supposed to be paying attention. Anybody know? Anybody want to guess?
Is this the need versus want?
You saw this already. And it's not anyway. Nobody takes a guess, huh? All right. Here it is. Golden rule. Oh! I messed up. I forgot about budget.
I didn't do it this time.
No, you didn't mess up. I forgot a whole category. Oh, this is a very important one because we're going to do our budget. Okay? Now, I want you to look at this word, and remember that word debt that we saw with that poor guy with all the debt? I want you to notice a fundamental difference between this word and that word. Anybody see it?
It's an anagram. Part of it is an anagram, right?
No.
D-E-B-T.
That's funny. It has bud in it and get, but that wasn't what I had in mind. But that is very true. Okay.
Punishment.
Yeah.
Budget is not a four-letter word. Debt is. We don't like debt. But, you know, people think of the word budget. Oh, budget. I have to stick to my budget. I hate my budget. You know, like they're in a straitjacket about spending. But what the word budget means is you are making the choices. You are taking control and making choices about where your income goes. And one of the choices where your income goes is towards saving, towards your own personal wealth. So you're in control. Going back to diet, let's say you want to go on a diet and somebody writes you down a diet and they write every day what you're supposed to eat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know, what snack you eat, everything. How long are you likely to stay on that diet? Not very long, I don't think. That's why diets like Weight Watchers work, because, I point to her because she used to work there. Because they give you a choice. They have the point system. So you're not rigidly following, you know, somebody else's plan of what you should eat. You're making decisions about what you're going to eat. So you have your points, and the points equal, you know, a certain amount of calories, whatever. But if you love ice cream and you want to have ice cream every night, you can have ice cream every night. You just take those points, and maybe there's something else you don't like so much. You know, you're not too thrilled with pizza or avocado or something. So, you know, you eliminate that from your diet and you don't need those points. You use your points to what you want. And that's what a budget is. It's you making the priorities, you deciding what you want to spend your money on. All right, and also the thing about budget, you know, like a diet, is you're working towards a goal. You're not just saying, I can't buy this, I can't buy that. You are working towards something. Like in a diet, you're working towards losing weight. You are working towards, you know, getting that debt paid off and getting your wealth. Oh, wasn't fast enough. Oh, I have some more budget stuff anyway. So there's a couple of different budget strategies. You got this, and you're going to fill this out, right? There's two ways of doing your budget. You can fill this out, and you can add all it up, what you spend, and then you're going to look at your income part of the equation. Does it match? Is the income part more or less than the part that you're spending? If the income part is less than the money you're spending, well, you're in trouble. You got to work on that. If the income part is more, then you're in pretty good shape. So you can add it all up, and if the income part is more, if the money expenditure part is more than the income part, you've got to go through those lines and make some changes. That's it. Or you can do your budget, what Dave Ramsey calls like the $0 budget or whatever. And what he does is he starts with your income at the top of the page. Then you go line by line with the most important things like mortgage, utilities, food, you know, all the real necessities. And you keep going downwards towards you're getting to, you know, less and less necessary and more not so necessary things until you get to the point where you're at zero, because you're subtracting from your income with each line. When you get to zero, you're done. You can't spend anymore. That's it. So that's another way of looking at your budget. Bottom line is you got to look at it. All right. So that leads us to contemplate needs versus wants. Okay, what's a need?
Food.
Food is a need, right? We need to eat. Okay. Anybody got any other needs?
Utilities.
Utilities, yes, we need heat and things like that. How about a want? Anybody got an example of a want?
Out to dinner.
Yes, out to dinner, right. And interestingly enough, you just listed two things that were both food. So, what? Well, first of all, let's contemplate these pictures here. Anybody have any thoughts on these pictures as to needs versus wants?
Well, you need a college. Oh, sorry. You need a college education because the statistics show you make much more over a lifetime.
Most people do think that. There are people that think their kid could go out and be, you know, a carpenter or plumber or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But
$2 too.
a lot of people do want their kids to get a college education. Any other thoughts on any of the other pictures?
That Whopper, whatever, is
That
probably
Whopper.
a want, it's not a need.
And that's what Laura touched upon before. So basically, any of these things here can be a need or a want. For instance, Laura's two examples, her need and want. Yes, you need food, right? But do you need to go out to dinner 3 times a week? So within any spending category, you have needs, and you can delineate between how much of it is a need and how much of it is a want, and how low can you go towards making it, you know, to what you want to spend in that category. But you have to be aware that, you know, it could be a want, and most things are. Like, let's say the cell phone. Your kid's 13, 14 years old, and they start being into, you know, all over the place, and you want to keep track of them. So you decide they need a cell phone, which they don't, because we all grew up without cell phones, but you decide they need a cell phone. So, do they need an iPhone 6? So, I talked about needs and wants too long. So basically, you can scrutinize every single expenditure and, you know, decide how down you want to go. And if you want to, okay, this one. If you have kids, that's definitely a need. You know, come home, and I'm sorry, there's no want about that. But do you need to spend $30 a bottle on a bottle of wine, or can you buy the big box, you know, and just, you know, hang your head under it? You know, so it's all a matter of priorities. You know, yes, you need water, but do you need to buy water in bottles? No. So I think you could see what I'm getting at. You can go line by line, and it's all a matter of personal choice. Like some people, they have to go out to eat to dinner once a week. You know, they just need that in their system. But, you know, maybe they don't need to get their nails done or their hair done so often or whatever. So you decide which are the luxuries that you really want to spend your money on, and which are the things that you don't necessarily, you know, have to spend money on, that you could do without or do with less. And here's an interesting thing about need versus wants and you know, the straitjacket of the budget. A little self-deprivation actually adds joy to life than makes your life more joyless. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Let's say you love potato chips. You know, you just love potato chips, and you want to buy bags and bags of potato chips, and you buy bags and bags, and you eat them every day, okay? Now let's say you decide you're not going to eat potato chips every day. You're just going to have a little bowl on Sunday night, and you look forward to your little bowl that you love of potato chips every Sunday night, but you're on a diet, whatever, and you don't want to eat them all day long. Which potato chips do you think you enjoy more? When you're just eating them all day long, or when you're saving it for Sunday night and you know you're going to get that little bowl and you cherish every little chip? So in that case, deprivation is actually adding joy to your life. It's not taking away your joy. So deprivation can actually be a good thing. There's a great example in this other book that I highly recommend everybody read too. This was my Bible in the 90s. It's called the Tightwad Gazette. And this is 1. There's also 2 and 3. And it's just chock full of zillions of little ways that you can save money and, you know, stop that leak in the sink. Love that book. So she tells a story in that book about, she's got 6 kids, and she buys all her things at, you know, yard sales and thrift shops and everything else. And she tells a story of one day they went to the mall, and they never go to the mall. But every once in a while, there's something they can't find at, you know, there's thrift shops, whatever, and she takes all her 6 kids to the mall, and there's an ice cream shop there. Now, they have ice cream at home. You know, she buys the big tubs this big, and it's either vanilla or chocolate, and they all eat the same flavor. But she decides while she's at the mall, there's a really nice ice cream store there, probably Ben & Jerry's, and she's going to buy them each an ice cream cone or whatever. And they get to each pick their ice cream. They get to pick their flavor they want. It doesn't have to be vanilla or chocolate. You know, so she buys them all their ice cream, and they are sitting there in rapt bliss, eating these ice cream cones that they never get, you know, like whatever flavor they want. And her mother's heart is just bursting, like looking at her kids having such fun. So you want to give that joy to your kids, right? But let's say, you know, most mothers would say, oh, my kids like that ice cream so much, I'm going to take them back again next week. And maybe I'm going to take them back a week after and keep taking them back. Do you think you're going to get that same rapt bliss from those little faces as that first time that you did it? No.
Probably not.
So a little deprivation adds joy, okay? And I could say that self-deprivation, when you have a goal and you're saving up for something, you're trying to pay off those credit cards, you're trying to save money, you know, for your retirement, whatever, and you have a goal and you decide, I'm not going to spend so much money on clothes, I'm going to spend less clothes. I'm telling you, when you put those clothes on that you bought from a thrift shop, or you've decided to, you know, wear that sweater another year or whatever, it feels good. Because you know that because you're doing that, you're paying off those debts or putting money in the bank. So another case where a little deprivation adds to your joy. All right, that sermon's over. Now we're going to go on to the nitty-gritty, all the little things. And I'm going to show you how much all those little things are going to add to your life. All right? You're in the habit of buying a $1.50 snack from the vending machine every day. You don't even think about it. It's a $1.50, right? You just plunk your $1.50 in there, you have your snack. Not a thought of. In a month, you've spent $45. In a year, you've spent $548. In 5 years, over $2,000. 10 years, $5,000. In 20 years, that little snack on the vending machine has cost you over $10,000, almost $11,000. All right, you go just a slightly more little treat. You know, people like their lattes in the morning, or they go out for fast food every day at work. $5.50 a day doesn't seem like much. In a year, in a month, 1 month, you spend $165. In a year, you spend $2,000. 5 years, $10,000. 20,000. 20 years, you have spent $40,000. That could be in your bank account because you were going out for a fast food burger or a latte every day. So when I tell you that those little things add up, there it is. All right, what's next? Now, oh, wait a minute, I have a worksheet for you here. I have your very own Break a Habit worksheet. Now, can anybody think of any little habits they have that they spend some mindless money on that they might be able to do without and save a little money like that?
Going to Marshall's.
There you go, shopping. A big one.
You think, oh boy, it was only $14.99.
Yeah, I saved $10, right? It's only you only saved $10 if you actually took that $10 and went home and put it in your bank account. How many people do that? And I have a great little handy dandy tool here for you, which is a little calculator which you slide it up and down and it'll show you whatever little habit you can break and how much money it comes to. Like on side one, it has you spend this much less a day, and this is how much more it is in a year. And then on side two, it gives you a week, 30 days, a year, and all the way up to 20 years. So you can see exactly how much money you're saving on all your little habits that you're breaking. And you know, if you break a few of those habits, boy, does that add up. All right. Everybody good with that?
This is good.
All right. So, now we're going to project into the future. You did all this, you get a handle, you took stock of your stuff, you're paying off your loans and everything. And we're into the future, and you've paid off all your loans. Hallelujah. Okay? There you go. Congratulations, you've reached your goal. Now, getting back to that diet analogy, you lost your weight, you're at your goal weight, you get on the calendar, the scale, you do a little happy dance and everything, and then what? What do you do?
Scream.
So maybe you eat ice cream, maybe you celebrate, and then beyond that, what do you do?
Gain weight.
You got to maintain that weight. Not so fun, huh? Here's the best part about the same analogy with the budget. Once you get to that part, then the fun starts. Because all that debt that was digging your hole deeper and deeper, all that compound interest that was digging your hole deeper, You finish paying the debt, so all that money that you were throwing towards that debt to pay it off becomes yours, and you get to keep it. And all that nasty compound interest now becomes your good friend because you are getting the compound interest. All right. Now, in money management. Uh-oh. Gotta hurry up. Okay, there's a cardinal rule, save money. Colin, do you know what it is? Every kid should know this before they go out into the working world. Anybody have a clue?
Don't live beyond your means.
We did that one already, but
Do you really need it?
I forgot to do
Don't use
that.
credit
Cardinal
cards.
rule of saving money. Ready? Pay yourself first, okay? The government knows this. You know, you have to pay your taxes. Do they give you, let's say you make $60,000 a year. Do they give you that $60,000 a year? No way. They know in April you're not going to cough up that, $15,000, whatever you owe in taxes. They take it out, and you don't see it. So guess what? You're making $60,000 a year gross, but you're really getting, $45,000 a year. I don't know what the tax level is there. And what are you living on? The $45,000, because you never saw that money, right? So the government knew that, and that's what they did. You need to do that for yourself. So what you need to do is take that money out of your income immediately before you even see it, just like Uncle Sam does. All the businesses know that. The cable company, your gym, they all take that money up front, right? So who's getting all your money? Everybody but you, right? The bank is getting you money for your mortgage, and the car people are getting your money, and the solar people are getting your money. You're the only one that's not getting any of your money because you're not paying yourself first. So when you make that mortgage, the very first line should be whatever you're paying yourself, and the more the better. $100 a month, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever you want to pay yourself should be your first line of your mortgage. And how are you going to do that? You're not going to, buy all your groceries and everything and then write a check to yourself. You're going to do it automatically, just like the government does. And how can you do that? If you have a job with a 401k, you should be signing up for that. Especially some companies have matches. That's free money. You put 3% in, they match it. If you don't have a 401k or you still want to make more money, you can sign up for a Roth IRA. Beyond IRAs, you want to save money besides IRAs, you can buy a stock mutual fund. And you're going to set up that mutual fund, you're going to buy the fund, and you're going to set it up. Your money goes into your checking account every month, your income, whatever, your paycheck. And then you're going to set up an automatic payment of however much per month you want going into that mutual fund. And you never see the money, and it just sits there growing. You can do this even with your short-term goals. Like, let's say, you want to take a vacation next summer. You just take how long you have until next summer, divide it by how many weeks you have. You want $2,000, for your vacation. Now, if you have 20 weeks to save up, you just divide your $2,000 by 20 weeks. That's how much you need to save up every week to get to that vacation. And I forgot to mention with the budget plan, I am a huge proponent of the envelope system. So when you write out your budget and this is how much you're going to spend for each thing, you literally take envelopes and you put, $400 a month into your food envelope, whatever your clothing budget is. You literally put the money into these little envelopes. When that envelope is empty for the month, you're done. If that envelope is empty before the month and you still have to buy food, you can borrow from another envelope, your clothing envelope or whatever, but guess what? You're not buying any clothes then. And you can even do that with things that you don't spend that much money every month, like like I used to do it for their school supplies. I had a school supply envelope. I put a certain amount of money in there, $10 a month, whatever. When it came September, that money was full of enough money for me to buy their school supplies. It's a great way to get your money saved.
Did you actually put cash in the envelope?
I did total cash, yeah. Okay. So now we saw the interest going in the other direction, and we saw how much money you can save by not buying that snack. Now you're gonna invest that money and see what. So now you didn't buy a little snack. That was about $100 a month that you saved, right? But if you invest that money, in 10 years you have $20,000. 15 years, $41,000. 20 years, $75,000. All the way up to 30 years. You stopped buying that little snack and started investing that $100 when you were 25 years old. At 55 years old, you're sitting on $250,000 just by not buying a snack. Okay? You double that, you know, your latte, whatever. In just 10 years, you have $40,000. You know, you can see the numbers all the way up. You didn't buy a little latte every day, and in 30 years, you have $500,000. And you can do a lot better than not buying a little snack or a latte. You can save some serious dollars. You refinance your mortgage, okay? You save $400 a month. You take that $400 and you don't just say, oh, I have $400 a month and just, you know, spend it here, there, or wherever. You take that $400 and you start investing it. In just 10 years, you have $81,000. All the way up to, you know, the kid that started investing that $400 when they're 25. When they're 55, they're still not even retirement age. That person has $1 million. So it is huge, the magic of compound interest. And it doesn't take a lot of money. You can get 10% on stock mutual funds. There are some that will give you a 10% yield.
Okay.
Yep. All right. I got ahead of myself. So, in summary, this is what we're going to do. We are going to go home and take stock of your income and expenses. We are going to take stock of that nasty debt. We're going to start paying attention to where all of that little money is going. We're going to stock up that leaky faucet. We're going to stop all that mindless spending. We're going to break a habit or two or three. We're going to first start by paying down that debt, and don't forget that emergency fund. It's very important to have. Oh, I wrote that. Have an emergency fund. And your emergency fund, the $1,000, once you've paid down that debt and you're starting to build that wealth, you should have a 3 to 6 month emergency fund, because if you ever lose your income, you know, you get fired, you get sick, can't work, you have a cushion to live on, so you're not running for those credit cards until you get that income back up again, get another job or whatever. All right, pay yourself first, very important. You are the most important person to get your money. It shouldn't go to everybody else but you. And you're going to make it automatic. That's how you do it. All right, so that's it for my presentation. I have all these great books here. These are all library books. Some came from this library, some came from other libraries. You can order them on the interlibrary loan. This is just a small smattering of all the books on this subject. Dave Ramsey's great. You know, this book, Debt Free for Life, is a great book to go through this. It'll go through all the things we just talked about. Like I said, my Tightwad Gazette was my Bible when I was raising my kids. And there's also a Tightwad Gazette 2 and 3. And you can get them all at the library. And here's some more tips for saving money if anybody wants this little thing. And if you want somebody to work with you one-on-one with your budget, if you need a little personal help, this is the financial literacy program from the Cornell Cooperative Extension that I come from as a family budget educator. And on the back, there's a phone number you can call, and they will ask you a few questions, take a little information, and then they will hook you up with a family budget educator, which, you know, I don't know if this is unfortunately or fortunately for you, if you live in this area, I will be your person because I'm the one in this area. So, if anybody wants that, you can take one of these. I thank you all for coming, and I would like you all to now close your eyes and click your heels together 3 times. There's nothing like financial peace, and you have all had the power within you all this time. So I want you to go out there and get rich.
Thank you.
Thanks, Victoria.
Thank you,
What is-
Victoria.
Yeah, what is your name, Gloria?
Victoria.
Oh, Victoria.
Oh, and I have, she had that to fill out for, and I have one, Cornell Cooperative Extension wants you to fill out her survey too. And I could stand up here and talk on any aspects of these for an hour. I could stand here and talk for an hour just on saving money on your food budget. So if anybody has any other topics or wants to go more in depth in any of these topics, just let the library know, Dawn, and I can come back and, give you more specific help on things.
Victoria, are you collecting these?
Yes.
Okay.
You want one? It's Cornell Cooperative.